Welcome, welcome. This is Birds, Mammals, Monotremes, and More Around the World in 80 Animals. This is number 9, Oceania. And I'm Roseann Hansen. If you're new, welcome. I've been doing, this is the second of this type of series. We started with trees around the world in 80 trees and tree-like plants, I think we did. I've been keeping field journals for a very long time, since college for serious scientific reasons. And then I started adding sketching about 10 or so years ago. And slowly I've been teaching myself, completely self-taught. And I have 2 books, Nature Journaling for a Wildlife, Master of Field Arts. And my husband and I have just launched this summer, Exploration Quarterly, which includes lots of field arts. Now, where are we going first? We're doing Oceania, which kind of this broad area on the Southern Ocean and Tasman Sea down Australia, New Zealand, and then we pick up Papua New Guinea, Solomons, Fiji, Cook Islands, French Polynesia. And where we're going first is down in Tasmania, which is a state of Australia. And our first critter is very famous. This is the famous Tasmanian devil, one of my favorite little guys. In the native language, Purinina and Sarcophilus harrisi. He's a carnivorous marsupial, native to Australia, but went extinct on the mainland 3,500 years ago. So just now in the island of Tasmania. And they have this terrible facial disease that they're suffering from that is causing a population decline. And if you know this little critter, if you're American, grew up in a certain era, you'll remember the Tasmanian Devil, which I believe was Warner Brothers cartoon. And indeed, they when they feed, they're ferocious and make all sorts of noise, screeching. And they indeed are very ferocious little beasts and have the strongest bite per unit body mass of any predatory land mammal currently living. So let's get started. One thing I did was I pre-sketched a little map here, and I'm starting to put the numbers of the critters where we're going. And I will drop this in the chat, and I think I put it on the website. I can't remember now, but someone shared. Thank you so much who shared, and I just forgot. Someone emailed me this link. Be sure if you use this map to let the people or give credit to the people who made this map, which is a little free resource. So I did that. And it just happened to be where I do all of my sketching in only one notebook. So this is just the end of my England trip. And here I am. I just started it there. So that's how I do it. But you might have your own way. You might do an accordion booklet that you make yourself, or a bigger notebook. Let me get this trued. There we go. And I am using my phone as my camera because I like the color and sharpness better. So let me know, though, if any of the focus starts being weird. So as you know, we are not doing scientific illustration. These are quick sketches. We're capturing the essence of these critters and doing it quickly by grabbing shapes. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of mark, okay, his end and beginning. So his tail I'm kind of put there, and I'm going to aim to put his nose about here. And that helps me kind of make sure I get into the right area and don't make him go off the page. And then he's got quite a few little shapes here. So I'm using my pencil to just really rough in this kind of oblongy. Okay. So I am having internet issues. Okay. Now, what I was saying was we are not trying to be scientific illustrators. We are quickly capturing critters and doing so by looking for shapes. And our little Tasmanian devil here. So what I did was I'm using pencil because I like to feel the edges of the animal and get the shapes in. I started by marking, okay, this is about where I want the tail to be, and then the nose approximately out here. And that's going to help me make sure my proportions are right. So I just started with, he's got some complicated shapes. So I just started roughing in, this kind of the belly here. And then you kind of got some shoulder shapes here. And then the triangle of the head, just do a very rough triangle for the head, and keep your eraser handy so if you get these stronger marks you don't like. But basically, and then I'm going to feel around the shapes and start creating his body, coming along here and down to his little fuzzy rear end, his little butt here, and he's got a lot of fur there. Down here, and you can see his kind of like tummy here and his leg coming down here. Is that camera not focusing? There we go. Got the leg there and his fuzzy butt here and his tummy here. Now he's got kind of his arm, elbow coming down to his foot here, which is another triangle shape here. You can see me just kind of feeling these shapes in. There's his chest. And he's got this long neck, pretty big head, because he's got all those muscles in there for that strongest, one of the strongest bites of any living land mammal. So then we want to get the shape of his ear, which are kind of small. You see how he's coming shape. Somebody's got their sound on. Please, everybody make sure you're muted. Okay, and then we get his little nose here just to make sure we get that placed. And then the eye is really critical. So here's the orbit of the eye you can see on this side. So this one's going to be about halfway between the ear and the nose. And he's got kind of beady little eyes. So we want to put that in. And then we'll come here and get that tail. I almost didn't leave enough room for the tail. And I'm being really squidgy on the lines because he's very fuzzy and raggedy. You don't want really strong lines. And we can't see his feet, unfortunately, so we're putting in the grass. So somebody, if you guys can please all check, make sure you're muted. I can't go in at this point and mute everybody. So we've got a pretty good shape going here. We've got our little Tassie double. And we can start, I'm now pulling off some of the extra of the pencil lead so it doesn't get too messy in the watercolor. And let's not forget to reserve his cute little white cape here, which kind of goes over his arm there. So I think what I'll do, um, yeah, I cannot reach, oops, oh, I cannot reach the controls. Sorry, see what happens, to make sure everybody's muted. I've got somebody who's not muted, so everybody please check. There we go.
Roseann, does he have claws?
They do have claws. They're carnivores. They're pretty voracious little predators. So, but this, unfortunately, this particular photo, I only use photos that are Creative Commons, so that we can use them without copyright. So this was about the best one I could find. I'm gonna just mix some. Well, let's get his the pinks in. We're gonna be running late today. And I do apologize for the super early hour for a lot of you guys, and for me too. I just when I was setting the times, I was still like in summer mode. I wasn't thinking winter. Heavens. It's like it's early out there. So thank you for coming, Californians. I know you can see he's got his tail is really scrabbly, so you can actually see his little pink flesh through his tail. And I threw that in. And now I just want to mix some darks. So I'm going in with my my darkest blue here and my burnt sienna to start getting that almost almost black, but we want to reserve some of the brown because it's not 100% black. You don't want like to fill it in with black. And I just prefer mixing. Some of you might have ready-mades. That's great. Use those. And so let's get I'm just going to wet his face so I can dab in some burnt sienna to reserve. So it's kind of a dirty burnt sienna that I'm doing here. All right. There. Okay. Now let's just get in some of these darks, and I'm going to do this pretty wet so that it gives, I want him to look kind of raggedy too. I noticed last time some of you were doing like direct watercolor, which I love, but I'm just not confident enough to do it. So huzzah, great for you guys who are doing direct watercolor. Okay. I don't want that to dry hard. So that's my first pass with the darks, and I'll come back and get more detail when that dries. And because of the snafu with my internet, running a little late today, so or behind, I should say. But you can see how just letting the watercolor do its thing, keeping it kind of scrabbly. Throw in some green. See, I always keep a dirty yellow there so I can mix a quick grassy, different colored greens there. And let's not forget, ooh, that's a little bright. Let's not forget to put details in about who this is. So this is number one. And I'm writing at a really strange angle. So this is our Tasmanian devil. Yay. Which is known as Greenina. And his genus is Sarcophilus harrisi. And he's a carnivorous marsupial. And strongest bite. For its body mass of any land mammal. You can see I had to kind of twist around, so my writing is a little odd. So we'll come back. And look what I did. I was so flustered. I forgot to leave his white. So thank goodness for white gouache or gel pen. So I was just kind of still flustered from my falling off. All right, but we're going to continue around the Oceania right now to our next critter. And where is that going to be? Well, we're going to stay in Australia. And this is really cool. Look at this is someone's finger. Thank you to Sherry. I don't think you're here yet. Sherry's in Alaska, so it's really early for her. Sent me this information. This is the northern marsupial mole, known as Karatul in the native languages there. It's endemic to the arid regions of northwestern Australia. It lives its entire life underground. And this is that behavior that is called fossorial, great new word. And he's adapted to swim through the sand. The claws of the third and fourth front toes are enlarged to shovel sand ahead of his face. And they eat insect pupae and larvae. And they're tiny. So we're talking, 4 to 6 inches long and just a few ounces, 2.5 ounces at most. And like all mole-like animals, vestigial eyes, and then the nose is covered by a flaps to keep the sand out. So let's draw this cute little guy. Oops, nope. I'm going to put him down here. I tend to do 2 per page. I had left my brush in the water, so I need to get that out so it's not waterlogged. Again, I'm going to start with pencil.
I can't see the whole picture of our little marsupial mole.
Oh, okay. How is that?
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure, yeah. Thanks for letting me know. So again, shapes are really important. Also scale. So we want to make sure I'm going to actually draw the finger in, and that's going to help me with scale. So I'm going to go ahead and do this finger. Just so we have that for scale. And then what we want to do, he's got like a little mini Jabba the Hutt shape. I'm gonna kind of, I'm just doing the main shape there. And then I can tease out his head. And I'm not, again, I don't want to do really strong lines because there's just, I want to show this fuzz. It's a very cute, fuzzy guy. And come down here, and you can correct as you go. Kind of flattened top of the head, and then this is the fleshy nose area. Got that a little bit big. I just want to, I'm just dotting that in basically, and I'm feeling out his body here. And then it comes down, and what you've got then are his claws, and I'll be making space there for him. So get those claw shapes. So that's the second and fourth. Because that's a main feature, and I want to get that right. And you don't want to cover up that. You don't want to draw a straight line there because it's fuzzy. And we'll just sort of indicate fur with just a few marks. Making marks is what we're doing, and we're learning about this wonderful creature. So what I would do then is just make a few marks to indicate the fur, like so. Not a lot. And he's got some fur going on here. And then I've got two parts to the nose. So he's got, you can see the nostrils there. Like so. And then he's got just kind of like these ribs here. And then you can just barely see his mouth. And then that's basically it. I'm intentionally allowing the pencil to scrabble. I don't want strong lines.
Do his claw fingers bend? Do they have bones inside, like with fingernail?
Yes, they're very strong. Yes, they use they're digging constantly, like swimming through the sand as they called it. So I didn't quite get this proportion right. You see that I need to redraw the finger. Haha. Easier to do that than redraw my critter because he's sort of resting on. That's better.
Are his eyelashes what I see there? Those little black they look like eyelashes coming off his eye.
So they have vestigial eyes, which are way back here somewhere. So he doesn't really have eyes.
Okay, you see what I'm talking about though, those little
This
spiky
here,
things? Yeah.
that's his nose. So that's
Well,
his
that's cool.
nose. Those are his nostrils.
It's got nose hair.
Yeah, I think those are wrinkles. Are you guys there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm like, I have to keep checking in because I'm like afraid I'm gonna fall off again. Okay, so here's our human's finger. So that was better. You see how you check your proportions and your placements, and it's like, oops, nope, that was not good. So so I don't forget, we've got northern marsupial mole, or let's give him his proper local name. Kakaratu. Northern marsupial. I should be writing smaller. And they are endemic to northwest Australian deserts. And they swim, we will put that in quotes, in sand with adapted claws. And maybe I'll run a arrow there. But to get his the essence of his kind of pretty paleness is going to just take the barest amount of color, kind of I'll mix it. It's a hard color that it doesn't really exist in a paint box. So what I usually do, my paint's lined up here. What I usually do, hopefully I won't sploosh my Tasmanian devil. So let me put that over there so you can see the paint thing. I'm going to wet this. So I should have taken off some of the lead pencil graphite because it's smearing a little bit, but I think that's okay. I was
Roseann,
pressing harder because I want you to be able to see it, but I normally wouldn't put this much graphite. Yeah,
did you use a term to describe his eyes being in the back?
vestigial,
Pardon?
vestigial.
Okay, thank you.
It's Vestigal. So it means they just have sort of these non-functional organs that were sort of somewhere way back in their uh, evolution, they were there. So I'm creating just a super pale, buffy color. A yellow ochre would work great. Okay. And I'm just dropping that in. It's too yellow. Not liking it. Because I don't want him to be white, but I'll be coming back and adding the pretty little russets. I think this will look less yellowy when I get the darks in. And so that's a good lesson too, is to get your graphite way reduced before you add your color. See, now it's still nice and wet, and I can drop in some burnt sienna, or even if you have a burnt orange. And I can use that to kind of make his chin. get around his nose here. We'll add the dark patches later. And then he's got, get these claws colored in. And he does have some, so that mouth, I'll probably want to come in maybe with a little bit of, maybe create a little gray by just adding some of the dark blue to the burnt sienna and enhance his mouth a little bit and the nose. Imagine he's got quite a lot of calluses on his little nose. Oop. All right, I'm going to let that dry before I do anything else. Oh, one thing I didn't get, if I went in with, I can go back and enhance a little with pen as well, but one thing I might have done is with the pen shown more of that, his fuzzy marks. And I do like the pen marks. And if you can go in when it's still slightly damp in your pen, blurs a little, that's nice too. So you see how that'll help. And he's got little sand bits stuck to him. And I'm going to let that dry here. And if you want to leave this as just a pencil or pen and ink or color that in, so people know it's a human hand. Let me just put some light pinky orange for the nail. And then we can come in, I'll have to make a really dark brown to get this is a photo from one of the rangers in the protected area where these guys are, these little moles are not seen very often. And so this is one of the native rangers, the Aboriginal rangers who are the stewards of this place. So he's got dark skin. We're going to need to show that. All right, I'm going to let these dry and then we can come back and finish that. But you can get a lot done in just 15, 20 minutes, which is about what we've done here. Oh, let's not forget, great words here. So they have vestigial eyes. Here's that word. Are back here, and they're fossorial. They live underground. Great words. Okay, but time to move on. So far, the internet's behaving better, isn't it? Okay. Where are we going now? We're heading up to Papua New Guinea, to an island off Papua New Guinea, to this fantastic mustached kingfisher. I keep wanting to say mustachioed. Well, maybe we can. Because he's so beautiful. Endemic to Bougainville Island of Papua New Guinea. They are endangered, about 250 to 1,000 individuals left. Big guys, 12 inches long. And they're perch hunters, as most kingfishers, feeding on insects and small vertebrates. And that head swivels quite a lot. And then listen to their wonderful call. I would definitely call that a laugh. Definitely. All right. So what I would like to do is, so he's drawing pretty well. I like that. I know this looks kind of scrabbly, but I can come in with darks and other colors and enhance that. And I like the way this is going too. So with when I get the dark skin in here, that will help push out the fluffiness of our little marsupial mole. But let's see. I'm gonna get my camera rearranged here. All right. And hopefully my little talking head is not obscuring the page. Can you see the whole page here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Hopefully in the recording it will be okay. So I think, since I'm using this sheet here, what I'm going to do is place him here. And what I want to do is mark, okay, basically the top of the head. And I'm estimating here, the tail's going to go down here. So then I'm got to get my shapes placed in here. So what I'm going to do is that triangle, that the dark wings will help me get my proportions. Don't worry too much.
Enlarge the bird.
Can we make it bigger? Like that? Is that what you said? And then
That is better. Thank you.
okay. And then we want to get kind of, they have really big heads. So let's kind of get that. Again, just get your oval in. Don't worry too much yet about proportions because we're going to check that in a minute. And the bill, though, is super important proportion-wise because they're big. So what you do, if you've ever seen that method where you take your pencil or pen and you measure something using your thumb to slide along, what I'm going to do is I'm looking at his bill and I'm marking the length of the bill, and I'm then going over and seeing that the length of the bill from the tip of the bill to the inside of its mouth, right under the eye, is the same width of the head. So I want to make sure that when I pull this in, here's the line of the bill here. Then this here is equivalent to that there, which I did get it. You see that? Come on, focus. Come on, Apple's not behaving today. So there's the end of his head. So now I can start teasing out that kind of flat shape of the head. It slopes up. We come down here. It's a little bump. And then we've got this cape of color that I want to mark. From his chin down, just very lightly. And then I'm going to pull the shape of the wings, which I think we got it pretty good. And I'm not going to worry too much at this point. This is a quick sketch, so I can put in some like just marks to show wings, but I'm not going to draw individual feathers. Here's his tummy. Don't forget the shape of his rump, so his wings come out like that. And then we've got the rump coming and then the tail feathers coming off that. And it's kind of obscured. There weren't a lot of photos of this bird. So we're just going to put in our tail like so. So kind of a short tail. And then we need his perch. Hope I got that right. No, the perch is a little lower. The perch is above his butt. Oh, excuse me, below his butt. So right about in here. And I'm not going to get too detailed on that. And then get that foot coming down. Foot placement is important. So it comes down, and then you've got, we can't really see it, but I'm going to put it here. You can see the rear toe there, and then the second coming down this back other leg, toe, just so we got that. And I think, big-headed kingfisher. Now we got to place the eye here. It's got this going here, and our eye is right about here. Use your pencil very lightly. Make sure you like that. That's the surround for the eye. Then I'm going to make the eyeball a little smaller. And just don't forget to leave a little shine so it's not solid black. And then let's mark out the mustache. Comes down and does this lovely swoop. All right. Fun. I like him. Now I'm going to have to pull off some of this graphite though, because I did it quite strong so you could see it, but I don't want it to muddy up too much. Sometimes you can use it, the graphite as a part of the drawing, but since he's got some lovely yellow, we want to make sure it doesn't muddy it up too much. It's okay to leave it where we have darks. So going to need some nice bright colors here. So what I'm going to do, because I use my triad, I'm going to lay in my pure yellow where the orange is. And then once it dries, then I lay over the magenta over that to give it the beautiful orange. That gives me a much prettier orange. If you have orange in your palette, then just go straight to orange. But I don't, so I'm going to do some nice bright yellow. Pretty bird, isn't it? And he has bright orange feet. Looks like there's a little bit, it's going to be hard to reserve, but I'm going to throw in a little bit of real iridescence in here. So because of that, I'm going to put in some of my cyan. Oop, that had yellow on it, so I'm cleaning that off. Make sure I've got pure cyan. Yep. Very greeny blue, so I can capture this iridescence. Don't touch the yellow. It's not a green kingfisher. Looks funny, doesn't it? It's like, ooh, what are you doing? This is all quite a bit darker. I don't really need to go into the full iridescence here. I'm trying to channel more of the direct water, like semi-direct watercolor, and not be too fussy or perfect. Because then I'll just get into the weeds on the perfection thing. Because we're just trying to do a quick capture. And it just to demonstrate the, let me get some nice, demonstrate the orange. So that bill is, I'm going to lay in some magenta so you can see. Hopefully it's dry enough. See how that creates a nice, bright, pretty orange, and I can grade it, which is fun. Leave parts of it very yellow. See, this is where I tend to just start wanting to really focus on details that I don't have time to do. So I'll have to come back. So I can let that dry. If I put too much red, then I should have done the dark in the middle. If I put too much red, I can add a little bit more yellow on top. And control your water so it's not too dark. And then we can go in and get our nice yellowy orange birdie here. You see how nice that's looking. And I'll do this in layers so that I can, it looks a little more natural that way. And I can make him orangier as I go. Is that a term, orangier? That's a verb now, or an adverb. To make orange. I'm being very cautious on the orange. And then what we do to capture the iridescence is you want to mix a very dark with your dark blue, like an indanthrone, and the burnt sienna, because that's liftable, a very liftable dark. I know this looks like weird. Why would you do this? But it works. And I make it very a bluey blue. It's really dark blue black, almost, it's not quite black. And then when we paint it over, the blue, we can see the brighter blue underneath. I forgot to orange out the yellow. See, I'm getting into the weeds here. I'm taking too much time on this one bird, but that's okay because it's fun. But you're kind of getting the gist of it here. Let me get the orange on the back. Now notice how I did kind of a dry brush on that. So I want it to look more feathery. And now I'm blending it. And just let some of it show through. I have to wait for this to dry to really do a good job. But that gets me started. And also while I've got the darks here, let's get those mustaches. And you see, I did there's a blork of paint. I'm trying to make these kind of raggedy. They're not perfect, right? Because you wanna show the featheriness. But I'm rushing a little bit, so I'll slow down. So I will do that as a first pass and let that dry. But you can see the iridescent look is already starting to, it's still wet, but it's starting to show through. All right, that's fun. We can see that's a blork of black. I'll have to deal with it later. If I touch it now, it's just going to smear. So he's looking pretty good. Got a little bit more of a woodpeckery head here. This should have been domed a little bit more, but that's okay. So this is number 3. This is our mustached kingfisher. Mustachioed. And wow, look at that name. Actinoides. Bougainvillei. Wonderful. And I can sketch in just want to suggest the branch. We'll throw some color on there later. But we need to move on and go to our next critter. Who's that going to be? Oh, this is fun. Let's see. How's everybody doing? Just checking in. Good?
Great.
Okay, good. So we're going from Papua New Guinea, now back down a little bit to New Zealand, to this really interesting critter, which is called the tuatara in the Maori language. And it is a reptile endemic to New Zealand. It's not a lizard. It's related to a lizard, but it's actually a rhynchocephalian. Say that fast 3 times. Cephalian, which is basically a living dinosaur, a survivor from the Mesozoic era. I said order. This is not right, but it's the surviving member of the order that existed in the Mesozoic. That was poorly worded. Once very diverse, but now pretty much this is the last one. They're about 31 inches long and a kilogram, so pretty hefty guys. And they're threatened. They're confined now to the North Island and outlying islands of New Zealand because of introduced species rats and things as well. They don't do very well to disturbance. So let's sketch this guy. He's going to be fun. Now, one of the things I tend to do is get in the weeds too much with, I'm going to want to like sketch the whole thing, and I'm not sure I have the time or patience to do the whole body. So you guys decide what you want to do. You could do just a very loose, light sketch and just don't get in the weeds on all. I mean, it would be so easy to just get lost in the textures and everything. But if we want to capture the essence of him, you could focus in on just the head. I think that's what I'm going to do. I like doing a bit larger sketch, and I don't have enough room across here to put the whole thing. So what you decide what kind of works for you. So what I'm going to do is just put in a few shapes, the neck here, coming down, and this is the beginning of the back. So I'm just doing the head part here. And so there's an orbital ridge and his kind of stubby mouth coming in here. So you're seeing his open mouth there, like so. With this other ridge, I'm just kind of feeling out the shapes here. This is not an easy one. Light, very light here. The circle of the eye, like so. And then he's got all these baggy bits coming down with a big kind of a sack. And then his arm comes off there, like so. And then you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. You can see, I'm just getting these, whoops. Let's just, won't worry about too much detail right now. I just want to capture him as best I can. Get his kind of arm coming in, down, there, it curves around, like so. And then his tummy. That's a technical term. And that way I can focus on some of the interesting details and then not get completely lost in all the trying to do all the textures and everything. However, one thing we want to do is show these spines. Kind of come up the back of the head. And so the males have this part of their back apparently has lots of folds, and they can inflate it and make it part of displays. So let's get that eye in here. Eyes are so important. Just take your time on the eye. Don't forget to leave the shine. And so you can indicate this ridge coming up here. This is the other eye orbit. And then he's got lots of texture, which we can bring in with paint and lots of folds here. Wonderful. We'll just sort of indicate some ground. Oh, forgot his other leg coming in there. Aha. Otherwise, it's kind of just barely shows. You don't have to do that. It might be distracting, but it's there, so we'll put it in here. That looks kind of weird. So this is the Tuatara. Number 4. We're going to put that here. And the kingfisher's drying nicely, so I'll be doing more layers and coloring working on him. So this is the Tuatara. And it is Sphenodon. Punctatus. So they are related to lizards, but it's not a lizard. This is a reptile endemic to New Zealand. And it is, here's our word, a rhyncho, so R-H, R-H-Y-C-H-O. Did I leave enough room? Cephalian. I'm sometimes really bad at running words off the page related to lizards. But ancient to Mesozoic times. It's a Mesozoic relic. He's really fun. So color-wise, first thing I'll do, let me clean my palette. First thing I'll do is get his little pink mouth. Nice pure color, easy to do. So you lay in the first pink, and then if you want to darken it while it's wet, in the back, drop in some of the dark blue, and that helps give the shadow immediately while it's wet. Come on. Now,
Roseanne, this
yeah.
might be a silly question, but it just occurred to me. With his seeing his pink mouth, do all animals have pink or red tissue if they have blood?
Question. That's a really great question. I'm thinking, snakes, lizards do, baby birds, most birds, mammals. Wow, we need to think about that. You've got me on quite a That's a great question. Ha, I love it. See what we can do. This is all about drawing to learn. This is these questions occur to us and we're like, oh my gosh, we need to chase that down. We've never thought about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to research that a little.
Yeah, please let us know if I forget to do so. I love that. So I'm mixing kind of this very pale brown with burnt sienna knocked back with the indanthrone, and I'm going to use that as my real very light base, just first pass. And one of the things that you can do, so if we want to make his spines stand out, is then you would go in and paint dark behind it. So that's something we may want to do later. For a quick capture that we're doing right now, see how I'm being really messy? And I forgot to remove some of the graphite. I'm making the face darker because that plane, this part of the face darker, because there's a really strong plane there where his really sharp features, where the orbital ridge is, probably didn't even get it dark enough. So burnt sienna, adding dark blue there. And then we can use that to sort of enhance the look of all these folds. And he's got a little bit of russet in here. Try to keep it watery so I don't get too many hard edges, but he's definitely got so much texture. All right. So you can see where we're going with that. And gonna let that dry, and then we can add details with a pen. I can come in, do some dark brown, but that's going to take a lot of detail work to get in here. But if you go really dark brown, then those will stand out, or just leave them. Might go in with a pen and draw them with a pen. That would work, and then add your dirt as well. But I think I'm going to leave him to dry, because the more I do right now, it's just kind of get weird. So I like that though. We kind of captured him. And it'll be fun to see what you all come up with. I will go in with pen and do more of the details and add his more wrinkles and details on his toes, but try not to go too crazy. Because again, we're trying to capture the essence, not do a scientific illustration. And everybody has their own style. All right, where are we going next? We're going to Fiji. What is on Fiji? Oh, look at this cute guy. This is adorable. This is the red-throated lorikeet. It is critically endangered, sadly, because of rats and cats. But it is endemic to Fiji. I tried to pick a lot of endemics this time, and it's rarely seen, so they hardly know how many are left. It's really hard to see because it lives way up on the highest parts of the rainforest canopies, up to 1,000 meters in elevation. And it feeds on nectar, pollen, and fruit. And he's so cute. Just love this guy. So he's called the Kulawai in the Fijian language. So I'm going to move this over. There we go. And this shape is not, there's not a whole lot of shape to this guy. Look at this beautiful scientific illustration, but that's not what we're trying to do. And I found this photo, so I'm going to go with the photo because I don't like copying the scientific illustrations, but feel free to do so if that's your thing. Again, let's decide. Okay, the bottom of where I want him is going to be here-ish, and then so this is right in front is we call them bottle brushes. It's I just forgot the name. The genus of that plant. It'll come to me in a minute. It's named after the botanist who was on the Cook expedition. So that's kind of, I want to base that there. And then he's just kind of got this very, how far up do I go? Let's just kind of feel this out. I'm just going to do the shape. I'm not going to worry too much right now about details. I'm going to tease those out in a bit. So here's the shape. It's just kind of a lump. You probably can't see that like so. There. So now I go in and I start teasing out more shape. So he does have a little bit of a head suggestion, but it's kind of a fat guy, fat head. So come on around this way and then get that kind of brow. And then let's get that shape. And I just use dots. It goes up over the eye. And there's actually, it's kind of got a cheek going on. The photo's not that great, but we can suss that out. Now let's get the bill in.
Could you please say the name of the bird again?
Oh, sure. It's the red-throated lorikeet
Thank you.
and Kulawai. Okay, so try not
I could
to.
be drawing along with.
So
Okay.
whoever's talking, please turn your sound off. Okay, and we'll just leave that.
Don't talk, Bob. Don't talk.
No,
Gotta
you've
turn
got
my
to turn,
sound-
you need
Gotta
to
turn my
your
sound off. I don't know
sound
where
off.
it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I am.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry as well.
No worries. Okay, and so then mark the red throat with dots. So we make sure we get that in. Great. And then his eye starts, and he's got that kind of beady parrot eye. So like so. Sorry, I insulted him. Sweet little eye. And then you've got kind of that parrot hat that they have. And come down, he's got his chest. A little bit out here. I just use dots here. I think he's got like a wing cut up here, but I'm not going to draw it that way because that's kind of I think he's not a natural pose. So you can see his toes here and the branch. but otherwise all right, those of you who are better at remembering botany right now, I am not doing a good job. The the plants in Australia, New Zealand, and this area that these bottle brushes, what are they called? Okay. So this suggestion of his wing here, it's all the same color, so we don't have to worry too much about making sure we draw every feather. So we can have fun with the colors on him. But I'm going to have to pull some of this graphite.
Roseann, I did a quick check on the tissue color,
Yeah.
and I really didn't find much about tissue per se, but the color of the blood is red if it has iron in it, and some animals have blue blood because they have copper in them.
Oh,
And even one creature, I didn't write it down, but that has white blood.
oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is all great to know, isn't it?
Roseann,
You. Yes.
I'm not a botanist by any means, but I did do a little quick look for the bottle brush, and I did find something. Callistemon, Callistmon, is a genus of shrubs in the family. Looks like it's in the myrtle family.
Okay, that might be it. I look at the leaves, that could be. I'm just having a complete blank. Banks, Joseph Banks, that's the botanist. Banksia is what I was thinking of, but this may not be a Banksia. Don't you hate it when you have those moments where it's like, oh, you just can't think? So I want to put in his, so it's they call it scarlet throated lorikeet. And the way I do my my scarlet is I start with yellow. But if you have a nice ready-made, I'm actually going to paint his bill yellow as well. If you have a nice ready-made bright red, go for it. You see some of the yellow is going to be coming down there. Let that dry. And then we've got this gorgeous green, which is, you need a bright, bright green. So get a nice neutral yellow, lots of it. And then I'm using a cyan, really a bright, clear blue. Need a little more yellow. That mixing yellow, so half my yellow is for mixing, but I need to make sure it doesn't have any other colors in it. So I'm cleaning it out so I can maintain that nice bright. And so I want some lemony, like more lighter green, and as well as the darker. So let's just go with the lighter one and do a base. So your first layer. Got an awkward angle I'm painting at here.
Roseann, what size brush are you using?
So this brand, the Isabay, they don't have numbered sizes. So it's, I don't know, it's somewhere around a 6 or so, I guess, sort of hard to say. this is a brand new one. I had to replace, my other one fell apart. And it's not as well made as the first one I had, interestingly.
Roseann, I do like the Isabey that you had probably a year ago that you sold in some of your kit or you had on your shop, and I'm using that one today. But I agree, it's funny how they change.
They, yeah,
If you had your Isabey, I think, for many years, but then they change it right, make it better. It's hilarious. But I do like the ones I got from you.
oh, those might have been Tintoro.
Yes, Tintoro, right.
Yeah,
But I have got, I do have an Isabey too I like.
so I was trying to keep the texture of the feathers a little, and then I'm going to put slightly darker in here. It'll dry a little lighter to help show his cheek and then his wings coming down. And without getting again into the details too much. But I don't really like the way this brush is behaving. What I'm going to do is I'm splaying it out here, and I'm going to, there, feather it a little more. And here I'm getting into the weeds again, as I call it. We're trying to do quick captures, and I'm finding myself like, ooh, I want to keep working on this. And so I'm going to leave that, and now get that scarlet in there. Which I want a really rich magenta, so I'm just trying not to get a whole lot of water. See how that nicely. Remember to leave a little yellow at the bottom. So you go really almost pure magenta to get that scarlet color. And then I need to do the bill more orangey. And I'm just going to do a quick swipe with that. I need that to be wetter. Also, he has orange feet, which I didn't quite get. Okay, so I'm going to move on shortly. I'm laying down a little magenta for the Banksia. And I'm going to come back and make that a little redder later. But see how I made it nice and juicy, so it just sort of creates a screen. And I can add some, just, I have some green here, so I can, if I wanted to lay in some leaves and go in and sketch them later, you can do that, since it's just a nice little, just a little touch to show where he is sitting, and I can add lines and details. So that's just to get me started. Since I have the green ready made. Definitely running late this time because of my bumpy beginning. All right, so we're moving on from Fiji. Oh, and I didn't write, I'll have to go back. I forgot to label our lorikeet, and I can see I dribbled a little bit on him too. So we're going to Samoa this is beautiful. The green sea turtle. And beautiful animal, very endangered, unfortunately. It's not named for the color of the carapace, which is kind of olivey. It's named for the green fat found beneath its carapace, and its diet being strictly seagrass. So they're highly variable in their colors on the carapace, and they live in the tropical and subtropical seas with very distinct two populations in the Atlantic and Pacific. And these are like most sea turtles, they migrate long distances between where they feed and where they come up on beaches to lay their eggs, which is why they're endangered. So let's get ready to draw.
Sorry, can you just show the image with the words again real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's the Samoan word, lume enaena, is their word for the green sea turtle. And I forgot to write the label for our lorikeet. So it's scarlet-throated lorikeet. We'll add that. But our turtle, now shape-wise, I want to put him down here. And what I want to just make, I'm just going to do just like a super quick, if y'all don't mind, I'm going to make this a little bigger. And we'll get the details in a bit because we want to get that shape. So I just want to make sure I get him onto my page properly. So I am just feeling it out at the moment. I'm not committing to anything, which is why pencil can be so useful. Okay, so that's kind of where I want to put him because I need room for his big flippers here. Okay, so that works for me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this upper shoulder, if you will. And you'll feel out the shape. And it starts to swoop down here. Oops. And it's okay, just, keep your pencil moving and feel out the shape. It's a little wavy on the edge of the carapace. And then it starts to come up. And then there's that's the where the neck comes out. And I'm making this a lot darker than I normally would, so you can see it. And then his head is just kind of this elongated, it's a cylinder. It sticks out kind of far, like so. Kind of doesn't have a whole bunch of nose. And if you want to, it's like I said, it's really easy to get, you want to do every texture, but one way to like quickly just approximate that he's got this beautiful pattern is just to do some squiggles like that. This is a quick capture. This isn't scientific illustration. His eye is way down here. And we're just seeing just the slit. And then his neck comes down here. And you can see it, the flipper coming out. And let's get that here, and then the flipper has waves. And then it attaches there. And then you can see his rear feet just barely. And again, you know, just do some squiggles to show the pattern. And then the other arm. This is a quick capture, remember? Other flipper. And if you need to, check your proportions. So there's like some lateral lines like this. You might want to show some loopy lines like this and get some pattern in like so, but don't go bonkers unless you have plenty of time to spend, you know, which is fine, do it. And then I'm not going to at this point. I would love to go in and lay in over the watercolor the patterns of the scoots, the oh, I think that's what they're called, the plates here. But for this particular exercise we're doing now, I don't have time, but I can sketch in a little. This helps me get the shape. It shows that it's got shape. You see there. You can make your curves like so. See, I already lost that one. It's really hard to, I would need to really study those. Again, drawing to learn turtle shapes. So, but that, I think that helped me at least. I've got, you know, this is great for a field sketch, just a notebook sketch, if you will. And that's the essence of our turtle now. I really like that. So what we'll do now, I've got a lot of graphite on here. So I'm pulling off some of my graphite. You can do the same or just go direct watercolor or go pen. And we'll see at the end. I love to see how everybody's doing theirs. Everybody does it different. There is no, excuse me, one right way. Oh, I've got some green left in here. So what I'm going to do is some light green, and to dull it up and to get the olive color, you put the opposite. So the magenta, and we'll get more browny olive color. Excuse me.
She had technical difficulties.
Someone's got their sound.
No, she started on time, but then her stuff froze because it's a Zoom.
Can you turn your mic off, please? So this is just the base. I wanted to get that kind of brown olive base in before I went much further, since I had that. And then interestingly, look at that, like kind of almost like turquoisey blue. What happens if I drop in a little blue with that? See that? Ooh, that looks really pretty. I'm liking that. Playing with watercolor is so fun, and it's addictive, and I tend to get into like I could spend a ton of time. So I'm adding just a little bit of the color. See how he's all speckled. That's kind of fun. Maybe just a little bit more, and then I'll call it good because need to move on, but you get the kind of the gist of how we can do some fun colors. All right, and what I'm going to do now for his flippers and head is actually go ahead and put a light wash of the cyan down, and then I'll come back and put olive on top, kind of an olive green. All right, I'm going to pause in a moment and try to find out who's got their mic on. Because I think it's going to get a little more disruptive. But see how we can, oh, those dots look weird, so I'm gonna. It does have some spots, but not that strong. And then I can come in with a white gel pen later after he dries, and I want more dark green, but I can enhance the lines between the shells. So let me see, pardon me. I can't find who's got their, okay, nope, sorry, I cannot. I'd have to stop the program to find out who's got their mic on. Everybody, please check your sound right now at the bottom and make sure that your audio is off. And we need to label our guys here. So what are we on? 6, so number 6 here. And this was number 5. So,
Wanda, could you please mute yourself, Wanda Daly?
oh, thank you. I'm going to write the Samoan name. Allow me, I don't know. Anyone know how to pronounce these? And this is Chelonia midas. So once that dries, I'll do more pass with the dark green and then come in here and do the greens. But it's really fun how you can, you know, you wouldn't even think, oh, should I use the blue? But yes, if you mute it with its opposite color, it will do really, really well. So I like the way that's turned out. And I'll come back and label our lorikeet in a bit. But I love the green sea turtle. We'll want to write that it's endangered and that it's named for the green fat but found beneath the carapace. So, okay. Now, from Samoa, we will head to French Polynesia. Now, I can't even remember who we have here. Oh, this is so fun. This is really cool. What is this critter? This is the Marquesas cone snail. Now, there's some really cool stuff here. It's a predatory and venomous sea snail, which is the gastropod. it's can be really small, centimeter up to 68, like 6 centimeters long. It eats marine mollusks such as miters, trucus, cowries, and other cone shells. And this is how they hunt. They fire a harpoon, a venomous tipped tooth, into their prey. The tooth is attached to the snail's body by a proboscis, and then the prey is slowly pulled inside the snail for digestion. I just love that. Oh, how fun is that? This is going to be fun to draw too, although won't have time probably to minutely do the
Yes, cones.
say again. What was that? Did someone say something? Sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay. Yeah. Make sure they get this to stop shaking. Cone snail. This is number 7. And we're going to put the cone snail here. Unfortunately, this does not allow me to search for people in the mode I'm in. If you can hear me, everybody check your mics right now, please. That someone's got their mic on and I can hear you talking, and I'd hate for you to say something you don't want us to hear. Okay, so cone snail is going to be fairly easy to draw. So just figure out where you want it on the page. Get the back end there. Bring it down here. And remember that there's going to be a little lip here. As it then comes around like so. Did we get the shape? We happy with that? I think so. And what you want to do then is, so we've got our proboscis coming out here. This tube. You can see the tube going in there, and then you can see I think they call it the foot, the gastropod. What here? It's got this wavy foot coming out. And then it's got very slight ridges or lines because it's wavy. And make sure they fan out so you show the shape. And let's give it a little substrate. So this one's kind of going over a rock. But we're not going to draw the rock. Now, this pattern, how do we tackle that quickly? It's going to be tough. So we can spend hours doing it exactly, or we can just start trying to approximate. I think they're different on every shell. It's not the same. So maybe we do that. I don't know. I've never drawn one like this before. You'd have to study it for a long time to identify patterns or
It's kind of like a giraffe.
exactly reticulated. Some of them fit in with each other notched, some of them are floating. And then the trick will be when you fill it in with the color, which I think will take some time. Oops, I don't think there's one shape like that, but it will. Try not to get too obsessed, or if you have time, obsess. It's great. I love it, but I could spend, hours doing this. It would be a great meditative thing, wouldn't it? It's like, and I think they can tell individuals from the shapes on their cones. But how cool is that predatory snail that shoots a harpoon? Gotta love it. All right, I need to stop, right? Or I'm going to be doing this forever. Not bad, I think. The problem is going to be coloring in all those, which I'm not going to tack right this minute, but I am going to get my data in here. I'll be curious to see ideas for who else, what others are doing. So this is number 7, the Marquesas. Cone snail. Which is Conus marchionitis. There are a lot of different species of cone snails in the genus Conus. So, and then we'd put predatory and venomous sea snail. And then you could put fire's venom tipped tooth. Into prey. And pulls them into their body. Ah, that is so cool. Okay. So yeah, the painting this one, I mean, I would just go in, like the pure burnt sienna and just start. That's too wet even. You don't want it to be super wet, but just go in here and wow. Like so. Probably use a different brush. I'm not liking this brush today. So you can see how you would do that. We've got some russet shading on the proboscis, and then the foot is got some the russet shading too, but not all of it. Don't color it in 100%. And then you can emphasize the foot if you want by going in and putting a shadow under, like so, or do it with water soluble graphite and show the proboscis there. Okay, that will get you going on that, because now I made up for a little time because we have one lovely critter left. And now we're going all the way up to Hawaii, which I don't know if that's technically Oceania, but I included it. So, and that is this cute little earless monk seal, the Hawaiian monk seal, which I'm not even going to try to say that. Someone lives in Hawaii, you can tell us how to pronounce that. It in the Hawaiian language, dog that runs in rough water. I love that. It is endangered, sadly, due to habitat disruption where they breed. And they are big guys, 300, 400 pounds, 7 feet long. They eat fish, lobsters, octopus, squid in the deep water coral beds. And then they'll come out of the water annually to molt. And then they're kind of just stuck on land for at least 10 days. So wonderful critter. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to put him in here. I always call them him. Let's blow this up a little bit. Now, we want to get the shape. So there's a number of shapes going on here, but I also want to make sure I fit it in onto my page well. And so I want to just, okay, this is going to be the back and the flippers. And then the head, I want to make sure is about over here. So let's get our initial shapes in. This kind of this oblongy, olivey shape, but then attached to that is another shape just kind of here, which brings the neck, and then we've got the head. You see how we just sort of teased out big head. And now I think it's easiest to start at the back end here, and let's feel out the back. It's got quite an arch. And then it comes into a large head like here. So bring that out. Oop, that was a blork on my part. Big wide head, but down to these orbits. So there I want to make sure I'm noticing that, see, I'm feeling out here is kind of where the eye goes. And then the snout has this big, it's kind of like a two-part. It's got like so. And then I drew the more of that than, but that's the shape I was looking for. Feeling out the shapes like so. And then keep going. Slims down a little bit. And then you have the lower part of the body. So we got our flippers. Sort of come up like that. I don't know what body part that is. Anyone know? Larger, closer flipper here. We've got the front. And then we'll place this side flipper comes out here. And we're looking at it side on, so. You can see just a few folds there. So that's why I think that on these it's easier to do pencil because you're feeling it out and then you don't have to get too anxious about direct pen. So I'll get rid of some of these shapes, but you can see how that worked to pull the shape of this cute seal. Let's get his lips and nose, which is very cute. He's got big whisker dots, which I think is part of his the way it really presents. And the nose is there, the nostrils are closed right now. And then you can see one eye here. And then the other is, don't forget, the outer part, almond shape. There, not bad. I think we'll get some whiskers and call it good. Now, am I going to pull some of this graphite? Yes. Especially on these edges, it be less messy. I can pull those whiskers out better later with my my pen if I want. Some people like pen and watercolor, some like to do strictly watercolor. It doesn't look like it has, I think there's this head is a little smoother, so let me smooth that out. And then because of the way the photo is, he looks very blue. We'll go ahead and do that, but it's going to be more blue-gray, so I'm going to throw just a tiny bit of burnt sienna in with my cyan. And do just, well, you know what I'll do first is get it wet so I don't get hard edges. Because I want to reserve kind of the paler parts. But I think not in the water, they're going to be more grayish. And the flippers look kind of reddish at this point. Should have got a photo of them out of the water, but the only ones I could find, they were molting. They looked horrible. And there's some, looks like russet. Wonder if it's just stained. I don't know. We'll have to check that. And we'll want to do definitely dark around the undersides and to show the shape. See how I'm pulling that, and then when we're done, we can also add the shadow of his flipper there. I think whatever you do, it will be fine because they're variable. And I'm just going to leave his white. And then I don't know about that. We need to find out about the coloration of that flipper. Isn't that weird? I don't know. I'm hesitant to do it red, but I guess I'll do it anyway. I'm going to make it more burnt sienna-y than bright red. Oh, his belly, I painted outside the lines. So I'll have to correct that. I think I can lift that after it's dried. Maybe not, I don't know. But that's, I think, a good start. I wonder if the red is stained from when it's out of the water, or because see its undersides. It's where the flippers might contact land. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But I think that's a good start. So this is number 8. This is the Hawaiian monk seal. And what else? Oh, we need to write its indigenous name. Holo Ikauawa equals dog that runs in rough water. Yeah, I can add some details later, but that's not bad. We didn't do too badly. I just have, these are so much fun. I can't believe how much we learn as we go here and sketch, and then asking questions. So I'm going to wrap up and then ask you guys to show your pages, but I'm going to put the tip jar in the link in the chat. Thank you so much. Every little bit helps. And let me stop the share. And I'm going to go to gallery view and remove my spotlight, and go ahead and if you want to turn on your videos now, and who wants to share your pages? I would love to see some pages. There we go. Oh, look at that. I can't believe how much you get done so quickly. Look at that. Fantastic. Your devil is fabulous. Love it. Well done. All right. Come on, another person. Do it. Oh, Carolyn. Okay, let me spotlight you. Thank you.
Okay. One.
Oh, big sketchbook. Yahoo.
Oh, wait, everything's falling out. We got those guys.
Fun.
And that little guy. And then I ran out of paper, so I'm on crap paper instead of scrap paper for the last couple. So it's really.
Hey, that didn't do too badly on just cartridge paper.
It's shouldn't be here, but there you go. So
that's wonderful. And that was great. Carolyn showed that you just do it whatever you have handy. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And
It worked.
It accomplished what you needed, which was practice and then learning about these great critters. So
It's been a lot of fun.
I love doing these. They are such fun. All right, so Tina, turn your video on so I can spotlight you.
Finish them, but I started them.
Okay, Tina, are you okay? Or Jennifer, Tina, you both put your hands up, but you need to put your videos on. I can't spotlight you. There we go, Jennifer, gotcha. Okay, sweet.
Hi, I'll just go through the pages quickly. There's one.
Well done, cute. Nicely
There's
done.
another
Great
one.
proportions. Your proportions are fantastic.
Oh, I thought this guy, I made him his body way too small, but whatever. And I don't know if you can see, but I had some fluorescent or glittery paint I added
Oh, that
there.
looks great. Oh, I love
And
it.
then my little fat guy at the bottom.
That's wonderful. Well done. You were fast. And is that direct watercolor?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm too chicken to go direct watercolor. Nicely done. Thank you. All right. We'll do Ellen because you've got your video on. Oh, okay, let's see. I've got to unmute you or we can't hear you, but oh well.
Hi, I'm here. Here's
Sweet.
my little, I love my mole.
The mole's fantastic.
I
Wow.
love this mole. I didn't know about moles, and now that I know.
Aren't they amazing? And this one is like so tiny. It's so ridiculously cute.
Yeah, he's on a finger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how you just suggested the nail. I like that. That makes the mole the subject. Really nice. Well done. Is that watercolor or pencil?
It's pencil. I switch between pencil and just ordinary pen
Good.
and colored pencil.
Looks really nice. Very good. And you got a lot of good notes in. Good.
Yeah, not finished, but I'll finish it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'll finish this afternoon,
Yeah, and
some more tea and really have a nice time finishing.
I had to get to my oatmeal. My
Oh,
oatmeal's been sitting there
yeah.
for an hour and a half. It's like, okay, it's oatmeal time.
I'm sorry. I messed up the time start. Next time I won't start so early.
Okay.
Who else? Jennifer, Jennifer, you did yours. I think I forgot to lower your hand, right?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to put it
Yeah,
in.
I thought so. And then Tina, I can't spotlight Tina till you turn your video on. So that was really fun, everybody. Love seeing all the different ways of doing it. And if you want to send me finished pages to me, I'll put them on the website and we can share them. And I love to do that because it's wonderful to see how everybody interprets things differently. And so I'm putting in the chat the tip jar, which is appreciated. It takes many hours to do these things, and I love doing it. Now, next time, number 10 is our wild cards. So it's not in a specific place. So it's things that we missed or want to do. Anyone want to send me some suggestions for cool critters I haven't done? We'll put into the wild cards. And then think about what we're going to do for the next series, geology, rocks, things like that. So that's super, super fun to think about. Send me suggestions by email would be wonderful. And so happy holidays. We won't do another one until 2025. So thank you all for coming. It's really fun. I love doing these. It's such good practice. So thank you. Happy holidays. And those of you who snagged some of the vintage things and the wild color kits, they're on the way. And I've got some more color kits coming. If you wanted one, the wild color kits, I've got more supplies coming for that. So those are super fun. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Roseann, I have one quick question before we leave.
yeah.
The town snail, where was that located at?
Marquesas.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll put the map and all the I'll have the locations up and on the website so you can check that. I'll email the link out. So the recording will be up later today, probably.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Happy holidays.